Well, welcome to the Writer Reads Short Stories. This is What Happens on Axis 58, Part 2. I'd take you up on that, except we need to find the control room, hack the system, and then get help while somehow keeping you all safe. Chicken. I gave her my best and nastiest smile. Nope, just no time right now. This ship's been taken over by Arak. We need off this ship before it gets where it's been programmed to go. We do that, and I'll spar with you all you like. Spar? She challenged. Who said I wanted to spar? I'm going to show you that you're not in charge of any of us. Oh, great. A challenge. I so did not have time for this. I caught her eye, inviting her to take a good long look into my head, and then I opened up a memory of the last sparring session I'd had with Mack. Sure, he'd beaten me, but I'd actually put him down twice before he had, and we'd been going full contact. She looked, just like I'd known she would. And when she did, I hit her with memories from the last fight I'd had with an Arak warrior. That fight I'd won. The next one, not so much. She backed up. Fine, she snapped. Later then. And I breathed a sigh of relief. Bridge, I reminded them. Where do we find it? Wait, miss, the girl said. I searched for her name. Tina, and she was disappointed I hadn't remembered. Sorry. She shrugged, pretending it didn't matter when it did. Anyway, miss, wear psi so we can check to see if the next compartment is clear. Every life form has a brain. I caught the wisp of thought that suggested not all of them knew how to use it, and registered a tone that said I should have thought of asking the psi to scan ages ago. I stared at her. Honestly, the girl was asking. She's just like you were, Ten said, and I wanted to tell him to shut it, but he ignored my discomfort. Actually, she's almost exactly like you were. Great. Now I had an audience again. 6 little Simines, all broadcasting what was supposed to be a private conversation to their friends. Get out of my head, I shouted. And they did. All except one, the boy who wanted to fly. He'd found tens. Let me watch? Tens gave a mental negative. Can't keep you safe, kid. How about we meet after we get you back? Sure. And Piet went. Tina said she couldn't sense any life behind the door, and we ducked through. I should have known it wouldn't end there. The first inkling of trouble I had was when Piet crashed into a wall behind us. When I looked back, he was flat against the wall, his jack dangling from a maintenance panel opposite, and his face so pale his freckles stood out like a dot to dot. What? And the sheer frustration in my voice made him glance toward me. It's alive. What's alive? He pointed at the panel and the jack. The ship. I wanted to poke Tens, tried to, and realized he'd vanished from my head, right down to the lifeless link in my implant. Well, for the stars' sakes, I hated working with kids. How do you know? It talked. I sighed. There was only one way to find out what the little monkey was jabbering about. I let the jack hang, but moved over to a wall and leant against it, glaring at Tina just before I closed my eyes. Hit me if something comes, I told her. I can't see anything when I'm in. Her delighted, really? Had more layers of meaning than I had time to think about, and I could only hope the little rat wouldn't hit me too hard. Whatever, right? I went looking for an entry into the ship's coding, took one look at the layers of black forming a firewall, and decided maybe I wouldn't play there. Disappointment flashed across Tina's face when I dropped out of the implant and back into reality. You'll get your chance, I said, and crossed to Piet's jack. You got wipes? He did. I wiped, and then I hardlined into the system. Once I'd made that connection, and hopefully it was beyond the Arak code wall, I'd have a good chance of plugging back in via the implant. Hello? I'm not sure my reaction was anywhere near as entertaining as Piet's, but I did end up sans jack back against the panel ready to hit something. The world blipped into focus, and then the presence behind that unexpected greeting dragged me back inside my head. Who are you? Who am I? Just who the. Piet started sniggering, and I stopped abruptly, correcting myself. Who are you? Great. This was not a conversation I wanted to have with an audience. I am Larry. I waited, got nothing, got twitchy because I'd been in my head too long and couldn't track what was happening on the outside. Tried again. What are you? I am a ship. This ship. I am this ship. You're an AI. I am no more artificial than you are. I didn't know what to say to that, so I turned to the matter at hand. Can you get us back on planet? Axis 58? Yes. How is the colony there? It survives. I was hijacked. We can see. Are they gone, the invaders? Invaders? That was news to me. Yes. And the ones on me? Oh, you are too reliant on profanity. And he wasn't supposed to read me quite that deep. Yeah, thanks a lot. Where are they? Who? The invaders on you. There was only one answer I didn't want to hear, and Larry gave it. On the bridge. Can you remove them? How long ago did they arrive? Larry named a date that made me weak at the knees, but it gave me hope, too. I am sorry. I did not know it had been so long. Yeah? Well, with any luck, most of the force stationed on the bridge would be gone, and I didn't mean they'd have left. They are in stasis. Well, that made sense. The bridge had its own. Except this wasn't an Arak ship, so how were they managing it? They have their own methods. Again, not what I wanted to hear. Do you have weapons on board? I asked. The ship's response was another I didn't want to hear. You don't carry any? I shook my head. I'm not allowed. I'm only adult supervision. Tina snorted, but it was a fair point. Some adult supervision I'd turned out to be. Larry ignored the exchange. How can you protect your young if you have no weapons? Your bodies are not made for war. I thought I had left directives to cover this. He had? And Tina raised her eyebrows. She hadn't even known there was an AI on the world. How could you not know? Larry sounded hurt, but I had bigger fish to fry. Can you turn us around or not? Not while their code is intertwined with mine. It has eased enough that I could wake and speak, but it still controls my shell. You were being helped. There was something, but the Arak coding ejected that presence, and it has not been able to return. I poked at the link TENS should have had to my implant, and found it vacuum empty. Worry wove through the fear churning in my gut. Can you fight it? If I could fight it, it would not be there, but I cannot cross the language divide. What if I gave you this? I asked, opening the coding Ascavor had taught me, the knowledge I'd been keeping from 6 all too acquisitive minds. The AI took it, turning it over and diving through it. It came as no surprise to feel small psi hands digging into the data just as fast as their young, unprincipled heads could move them. I couldn't be everywhere at once. You've been holding out on us, miss, was not something I'd ever expected to hear in Piet's quiet tones. Larry said nothing, but I watched him move, sifting the knowledge and the code, and then digging deeper. Hey! That came out loud and vocal, and everyone stopped, trying to see what I very much did not want them to. The Arak in my head. Memories of Ascavor as he showed me how to get through the code infecting Mack's ship. Memories of the Arak themselves. I slipped out of Larry's grasp and came out of my head, angry.